Alright, now it's time for Hiru's Q&A number 28. Why do I even number these? There's no real reason for these to be numbered, to be honest. But then I'd have to think up creative titles for each one. Anyways, for new time listeners, because I always get someone who makes a comment about it, these Q&A videos aren't highly edited, and I usually just ramble on for about an hour while answering questions. It has very little to do with WoW. But, I guess I do get some WoW questions every now and then, so, feel free to skip this video if you only like the highly edited WoW stuff I do. Unrelated news, I've been sick for the past 4 days, so if my voice doesn't sound, what it's usually like, it's because it's still kind of raspy. I'm not at 100%. I am at, 80 to 90% better. I just still got the raspy voice. And I might run out of breath because I'm still kind of tired. Actually, I don't know. My brain's also not going at 100% right now either. That's why I haven't been able to work on videos. Usually when I'm sick, I don't really get sick as much as I used to anymore. I remember when I used to have my old customer service job when I used to go to school. I'd get sick once a month or once every 2 months or once every 2 weeks. I got sick a lot. Definitely more than 10 times a year. So I got kind of used to it. I always hated how I got sick so often I wasn't able just to stay home and do nothing. So I know how to function while I'm sick because I used to work all the time. I remember I actually had to play a football game once while I had the flu. Because I had missed too many days of school already from being sick earlier. And I basically came in on Monday and we did practice and I felt like I was going to die because I was sick. So I stayed home for the rest of the week. And I came in on Friday after missing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Because I didn't want to miss too many days and I wanted to do tests and stuff, and they made me play in the game anyway, even though I hadn't been to practice all week. I was kind of surprised about that. I was like, you'd think they would replace me. They have so many other people who can do my position. But whatever. That sucked. I don't even remember that game, to be honest. I don't remember anything about it. I know I started, and I know I didn't do very good, but I also didn't do terribly either. Because I knew I played the entire game, otherwise they would have taken me out. I think. I don't remember anything about it. It's the only game I can't remember at all. I just remember that I felt like shit. Anyways, yeah, I'm sick. That's why my voice will be a little bit raspy. I'll still try to put some emotion into it. Put some effort into this video. Ooh, I should edit that out. Alright, so it's been a month since my last one. I forgot to do one in November, so I'm doing one December 1st. This one probably won't go out until tomorrow, though, so it'll be December 2nd or whatever. My December plans, I have this little note here that says talk about things before you answer questions. I have a lot of questions, so I'm going to try to speed through this so this isn't a 2-hour-long video. Last year in December, I uploaded a video every day for 2 weeks. As part of the 12 days before Christmas thing. And that sucked. That was a lot of work. So this year, I'm just going to upload a video once every 3 days or something like that. That's why I released that whole new video series last week. Warcraft Mini Facts with the whole Vol'jin thing. That video did really well, surprisingly. It had over 300,000 views and it hasn't been out for a week yet. It usually takes videos months to get those many views, if they ever do at all. And even the developer who put that character into the game, saw the video and he tweeted about it. I was like, oh wow, I almost feel bad for rushing out that video now. Because I made the video in a day, and I purposefully cut corners at some parts of the editing, because I knew it would take too long, and I know how long it takes videos. I've made hundreds of videos. I know how long the editing will take. So I cut a lot of corners, but it looks like people didn't really care, and I knew they wouldn't. People don't really care that much about quality of videos. Some do, but as long as the quality is okay, it's fine. And I think the quality was okay. It's just I could have made it a little bit better if I had put an extra day of work into it. But yeah, so videos every 3 days. I have a whole bunch of scripts already written, I just have to make them. But since I've been sick for the past 4 days, and since I took a couple days off after putting out 2 videos last week, plus there was the holidays, I haven't really done anything for the past 2 weeks. because there was like the holidays, plus I did those 2 videos for Thanksgiving, and then I got sick after taking a couple of days off because I did a whole bunch of crap after Thanksgiving as well. And then while I'm sick, my brain's not working too well, so I can't really write scripts. Actually, I sat down, I was like, okay, I'm going to look up an idea for the script that I've been wanting to do. So I wrote down the idea, and then I looked it up real quick. And then I just started researching it all the way through, and I couldn't stop. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to be doing this script today. But that was cool. I got one script done while I was sick. Kind of just on accident. Okay, let's go on to the questions. First question, Hiru, does your dog bork? Oh, memes. Yeah, he barks. My dogs bark. I remember I got a question too. I don't know if I have it written down here or not. Someone asking, do you even screen your questions before you read them? Yeah, I do. I'm just not a very serious person, so I pretty much just answer all of them. Question number 2. I love your Patreon posts. They show a really different side of YouTube. Oh yeah, this question was by my... This isn't really a question, though. On my Patreon page, every time I release a video, I'll talk about, like, the behind the scenes with it. With, like, why certain shots took forever to get. Or, do I talk about anything else besides that? I don't know. I usually just talk about all the stuff that went wrong while I was making it. And why it took so long, and what I'm going to be working on next. And I even started doing these little things where I'll just write down random posts about... Actually, that's where I got the idea for the Warcraft mini facts things, was I just have this an idea list of a whole bunch of like random facts about WoW that don't fit into videos. So I was like, I'll just write these as like Patreon posts, as like little blog posts for the Patreon, because I saw on Hellscream's Patreon, Crucial now, he said like one of his $1 rewards was random posts about WoW facts. I was like, oh, that sounds like a good idea, so I'll copy that. And so I started doing that, and I was like, hey, this is actually kind of a good idea for videos. So I did that, and the first one did really well. I don't think the other ones will, though. I don't know why that first one did, though, so... You never know. YouTube's random. Videos you don't expect to do well sometimes do very well. And sometimes videos you expect to do well don't. Next question, do you think you will ever do a face reveal? And if you already have, where can I find it? Okay, so I get this face reveal question like literally all the time. It has got to be my most asked question ever. Do I actually have that? I have like this thing on my stream with like frequently asked questions. I don't know if I have this there though, even though I get asked all the time. Usually it's just a no. I might as well just answer it again. It's not like I expect people to go back and watch all of my other Q&A videos. All of them are like an hour long, and there's like, what, 28 of them now? It would literally take you more than a day of just watching them straight in order to listen to all of them. Okay, so why don't I do face reveals? Well, there was this one YouTuber I used to watch. Well, I still watch him sometimes. But I really liked his videos because I liked his voice. And one day he just randomly did a face reveal, like a face vlog. I was like, oh, that's what he looks like? That is not the face I was expecting at all. And after I started watching his videos again, I was like, I couldn't stop picturing his face, and I kind of lost interest in his videos, and I ended up unsubscribing. And then I ended up subscribing again later on because I was like, yeah, that doesn't really bother me. I don't know why I unsubscribed in the first place. But it's more like, I wish I never knew what he looked like, because I wouldn't have been disappointed. Even if those other people who they don't even look bad, and I finally see their face, and I was like, I kind of like the mental image I had a lot better. So because of that, I won't reveal my face. It's not really a simple thing. I always have to tell a story with it. But that's the main reason why I won't do a face reveal. Is because I don't like people who do face reveals. And I like to do stuff that I like. Okay, so, next question. I also think face reveals are very unnecessary for this type of videos I do. And I wish less streamers would do face cams because I don't really like them there. There are certain video games where face cam totally adds to it, but it really doesn't need to be there for everything. I don't need to see you staring at the screen with no facial expressions for 2 hours, with a really big thing on the side. I just don't think it's necessary. But a lot of people ask for it, so I understand why they do it. Considering this is my most asked question, I'm pretty sure they get asked all the time too. And they probably just relented as like, might as well do a face cam since everybody asks for it. I don't like it though. Okay, next question. Hiru, would you rather fuck a man in a woman's body or a woman in a man's body? Also, are you ever going to do a face reveal? Would you rather fuck a man in a woman's body or a woman in a man's body? Well, I mean, as long as the body is a woman, I think I'd do that. But I mean, if the guy was cute enough, I'm not against it. I mean, I'm not gay or anything, but if he has a feminine penis... Oh, that's a... Oh god, that's a in-joke in the anime community that would take a really long time to explain. So I'm not even going to. Those of you who get it will get it, and those of you who won't will think I'm weird. And not in a good way. Next question. Hiru, who is your favorite WoW race? Blood Elves. But if I was going to be one in real life, probably Taurens, because they're like the strongest innately. In lore, at least. I mean, like, average Tauren is like 10 feet tall. These guys are hella big and strong. Hiru, what is your opinions on the whole YouTube hero controversy about the mass video reporting thing? Alright, that was a controversy like a month ago when this question was asked. Like all YouTube controversies, it just kind of blew over, but it was never really a big deal. All the usual drama YouTubers blew it out of proportion like they usually do. And it wasn't a big deal. I knew it wasn't, and it wasn't. It's just a dumb idea. Like a dumb name for it. Like the idea behind it is not... I just said it was a dumb idea. I'm about to say how the idea is not half bad. Like, I get where they're coming from. Because there's a lot of people who just straight up re-upload people's videos. Like, I found a channel... like a month ago or so, that literally just re-uploaded all of my most popular Yu-Gi-Oh videos over on my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Like, his entire channel was just my most popular Yu-Gi-Oh videos. He straight up just uploaded the entire videos with no edits, and even copied the same name. He even copied, like, the thumbnails for a couple of them, too. So I went and did, like, a takedown notice for one of them, and it was a huge pain in the ass. It took a lot longer than I thought it would. It was like 5 minutes of filling stuff out. And I was like, that was just for one video. I'm not going to do this for all of them. I do not care that much. Who cares if he's siphoning some views for big? It's not worth the effort. And that's where I think like the whole YouTube heroes thing is like, oh, they probably have tons of channels that do this shit. Where they're literally just stealing videos. And I was like, oh, mass reporting videos? That would actually be a neat feature for this channel. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of videos like that where people just straight up steal videos. And I can see why they would have a system like that that would reward people to do that. Because there are some people who genuinely like to do stuff like that, administrative work for no pay. So it's like, hey, why don't we give you like arbitrary rewards for doing it? Kind of like being a moderator on a subreddit. There's no, I say there's no like monetary rewards, but I'm pretty sure some of the bigger subreddits might pay their moderators, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but they do a lot of work. And a lot of those people just enjoy doing it for the sake of moderating. So the YouTube Heroes thing was just a way to reward those people. With arbitrary rewards for going around and helping them clean up YouTube. Because when I did read of it, every time they flagged a video, they'd have an actual YouTube employee approve of it. And like... say, like, someone who's in the YouTube Heroes program goes around and reports a whole bunch of videos that are just straight up stolen. And then they'll have YouTube workers check them and be like, oh, yep, this is a stolen video. Let me make a check mark next to the person who reported it. And then the person who gets enough, legit reports, they would get rewarded in the YouTube Heroes program. And so they'd be like, well, this guy knows his stuff. He only ever reports stuff that's legitimately would be reportable. And I was like, I don't really see a problem with that. But I can see why other people would, because then they think about how it could be exploited. And I think of that too. I was like, oh, one of the YouTube hero people would just one day decide to flag a whole bunch of videos that are legitimate. And I was like, what are you going to do about that? And he goes, well, it would be an inconvenience. But I'm pretty sure YouTube has a way to deal with it, or maybe they wouldn't. It could be a whole thing. I can understand the negative side of the argument too, but I can actually understand the positive sides of it. I just don't think YouTube did a good job of explaining it. They tried to make it seem like it was this YouTube Heroes. That's such a dumb name for it. YouTube Tattletales would be the best way to do it. But I guess they want to try to reward them. I don't know, it's a whole complicated thing. Next question. Who is gayer, Kukio or Hellscream? Hellscream is crucial now. He had to change... Well, he didn't have to. He changed his name recently from Hellscream to Crucial. Because it's a more marketable name. If he wants to do brand promotions and stuff, he can't really put like Hellscream on it. Because that's, a copyrighted, really popular World of Warcraft name. So I understand the move to change his name. And I agree that if anything, I should change my name as well. But who's gayer between them? I don't know. That's kind of a throw-up. They're both just so gay. I can't really choose one between them. Next question. Actually, you know what? There's my nephew's home right now. And he's making a whole bunch of loud noise downstairs. I don't know what he's playing with, but it's making a really loud pop sound. I wonder if that'll show up in the video. Because he's been doing it for like the past 5 minutes. And I've just been ignoring it. Hopefully it doesn't. Because that would be annoying. Because I'm not going to edit it out. And I'm not going to redo this. Oh no, I'm losing energy in my voice. I gotta talk louder. Okay, next question. Why is it that whenever I'm meant to be sleeping, I want to be making videos, yet during the day I can never be bothered to make videos? I actually know the answer to this. Okay, so what's happening here? Like, before you're about to go to sleep, you think about all these things you want to do. It's like, oh, I'm going to make a new video. I'm going to make 10 new videos. I'm going to upload 3 new videos on my channel every day instead of just 1. I'm going to do all of these things. Oh, too bad I have to go to sleep. Oh, I really want to stay up late and do these things, but I'm not going to. You go to sleep and you want to do all these things. Start a diet, start running, start studying French or something stupid like that. You just want to be productive when you're about to go to sleep. It's a super common thing. Everybody does it. And then you wake up the next day, you don't want to do anything. Like, I just want to go back to bed. I don't want to do any of those things I wanted to do last night. Well, what's happening there, it's a really common thing that people do, is they think of their future self as a different person, not as themselves in the future. So while they're going to sleep, their body has already shut down. They know they're not going to do anything else for the rest of the day. Like, we're just going to go to bed. And since you know you're not going to do anything for the rest of the day, subconsciously, you think, there's all these things I want to do. But you're not going to, because that's future you's self who's going to be doing all these things. It's like, oh, there's all these things I want to do. But I know for sure I'm not going to do them. That's why I want to do them. Because I'm not the person who has to do them. It's going to be future me who does them. Future me isn't me. He's a different person. And since you think of your future self as a different person, it's real easy to put a whole bunch of expectations on them. And then when you wake up and become future you, it turns out future you is just you and you're still lazy. And you're like, I don't want to do any of these things. And that's basically the gist of how you can go to sleep and think about all these things you want to do. And then you wake up the next day, you automatically lose all that motivation. It's because you were thinking of it as someone else. That's why whenever I have something to do, I don't know if I ever have like a problem or something, I'll just say, I'll leave that for future me to deal with. The way to fix these things is to realize that future you is you. And you just don't think about it before you go to sleep. It's like, I'm not going to think about any of these plans before I go to bed. I'll make plans in the morning. If you make plans in the morning, you're more likely to keep them. In fact, it's best to do everything you don't want to do for the day at the beginning of the day. That way you have the rest of the day to just screw around. Like if you have a bunch of work to do and you need to check emails, do all the work first and then check emails later. Instead of checking all the emails first and then doing all the videos, all your work later when you're tired. Whew. Okay. On to the next question. I have a lot more questions, so I can't go further into that, but I think I answered it pretty well. The reason you want to do all these things before you go to sleep is because you think of your future self as a different person. So you think of it as things that you don't have to do, but things that will benefit you. So, of course, you would want to do things that benefit you without having to do it yourself. Because it's a different person doing them. Alright, I'm a new subscriber as of today, and spent the last 5 hours watching most of your videos. And I gotta say, I love them all. LOL. Been playing WoW for 11 years, and didn't know some of these things. Keep up the work. Oh, well, yeah, that's because I pander heavily to nostalgia. I rarely ever make videos about current events happening in WoW, because then I wouldn't be able to pander to nostalgia. I know how much people love to bask in nostalgia, and WoW is an old enough game where I can bask in lots of it. Alright, next question. What's your favorite insult to use online to people who are being rude and or stupid? Insult, huh? I don't really insult people online anymore. Ever since I've been doing YouTube as a job. Just because I used to respond to so many people over the years for comments on videos and stuff that I just got kind of tired of it and I don't do it anymore. So now when I play video games and someone's being rude or stupid, I just ignore them because I know it's not worth the effort. But when I still had the fight in me to do that kind of stuff, my favorite insult was to call someone autistic, because it seems like a very specific thing. It's like one step above calling someone retarded. It really gets under their skin. I don't do that anymore, though. I also feel kind of bad when I do that, because I have nothing against people with mental disorders. In fact, I feel really bad for them. Alright, next question. Do you have any anime recommendations that aren't as well known? Yes I do. In fact, I actually brought up my anime list for this question. Let me bring it up real quick. I have my thing right here of anime that I bothered to actually put on my list. And at the top I have a whole bunch that are rated 10 out of 10. Number 1, Welcome to the NHK. Welcome to the NHK, is an anime I'll talk about after I pause this video and get a drink of water, because my throat is killing me. Alright, now that I'm back. Welcome to the NHK, that anime right there. What is its rating on here, an 8.4? That's pretty good. Any anime with a rating over 8 on this site is pretty damn good. This isn't a super well-known anime. I think its popularity is number 112. I guess that is pretty popular. The whole anime is about this guy who dropped out of college, and he's like 24 or something. He lives in an apartment by himself, and he doesn't have a job, and he doesn't go to school. His parents pay for everything, and he sleeps for 16 hours a day, and just watches TV when he is awake, and then goes back to bed. So that's how it starts off. A guy with no friends, no job, and isn't going to school. And it's about this girl who finds him when she's with her aunt, who goes like on a missionary thing, like knock on his door, and it's like, hey, do you believe in God? And he's like, no, get the fuck away from me. And he goes off on a whole tangent about how he doesn't have a job or work anywhere, and then she sees him and decides that he could be manipulated pretty easily. So she goes and talks to him under the guise of helping him get his life together. And then that's how the whole thing starts, and it's just a really good depiction of different people with different kinds of depression, because he finds a friend who's just a huge anime nerd. One of his friends from high school who had like major case of melancholy finds him too, and they go to like a suicide meeting, and they end up not killing themselves. Man, that story's so good. I've watched the entire anime like 5 times. It's like one of the few anime I actually own the entire DVD set too. I don't really buy videos for anything, but I had to buy one for that just because I liked it so much. It doesn't sound very good until you actually watch it. It's just a really good character study of different forms of depression and how getting over it is not easy. And in the end, things don't turn out all happy and cheerful, and everyone gets their lives together, and it's a, beautiful, happy ending. But they do get a little bit better, and that's the best you can hope for, is to get a little bit better every day. Okay, so that's that one. It's a super deep one. It's great, though. Super good. I'll mention, 2 other ones, I guess, because I'm not going to turn this into Hiru's Anime Corner. We've got Bake Monogatari, the Monogatari series by Shaft. That one, actually, that's super well known inside the anime community. Probably not for anyone else. I'll skip that one just because it's so well known. Let's see, what else do we have? Kami no Mi. Oh, the world God only knows. Man, this is got to be like one of those animes where the premise of it sounds so ridiculous that there's no way it could be good. But it's executed so well that it is actually amazing. Here, let me read the first the first line of it. Keima Katsuragi, known online as the legendary god of conquest, can conquer any girl's heart, in dating sim games at least. In reality, he opts out for two-dimensional world of gaming over real life, because he is an unhealthily obsessed otaku of gal games, a type of Japanese video game centered on interactions with attractive girls. While he arrogantly accepts any anonymous offer to prove his supremacy at dating sim games, Keima is misled into aiding a naive and impish demon from hell named Elsie, De Lut Ima, with her mission, retrieving runaway evil spirits who have escaped from hell and scattered themselves throughout the human world. Keima discovers that the only way to capture these spirits is to conquer what he hates the most, the unpredictable hearts of three-dimensional girls. Shackled by Elsie via a deadly collar, Keima now has his title of God of Conquest. Put to the ultimate test, he is forced to navigate through the hearts of multitudes of real-life girls. Man, that sounds so lame. It sounds super dumb, but it's actually really good. The main character is hilarious. And all the girls he goes with are pretty believable, if cliche, but that's the point of it. It's making fun of how cliche animes are about certain things. And then it gets a surprisingly good story in the 3rd season, and it wraps up with a really good ending that I can't really explain because I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm trying to power through this question. Alright, and one more anime recommendation that's probably not as well known. Here's one. What's it called again? I'm not gonna read his Japanese name, but I don't remember how to say it in English. Oh, right, The Daily Lives of High School Boys. It's about the daily lives of high school boys. It's actually just the funniest thing I've ever seen. I say that, but I remember watching something really funny recently that I thought was I remember now. Grand Blue. Anyways, The Daily Lives of High School Boys is just a really funny anime. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I gave it a 10 out of 10 just because it was so hilarious. If you want to see an example of it, just research The Literary Girl, The Daily Lives of High School Boys on YouTube, and just watch the whole series. It's so funny. Recently, I've only ever found one other thing that surpassed it, but that's a manga. And that's called Grand Blue, and that's about something completely different. But I'm not going to talk about that, because no one asked any questions about manga, which I do read. I read manga every day. At night. At 12 o'clock, I stop doing any work, and I start reading manga until 2 o'clock in the morning, then I go to bed. Because I don't like to play video games before I go to sleep, otherwise I'll dream about them. And that's no fun. Alright. Next question. I don't know where I'm at. Okay. I just love these kinds of videos, like you just talking with some gameplay in the background. To be honest, I find it very relaxing. I can enjoy the video while playing WoW myself. Keep up the good work, mate. Okay, so these kinds of videos are basically designed for exactly what you're describing. Just something to put on the background and listen to while you play WoW. or something else, because that's what I do. Whenever I play WoW, I just put up a playlist of YouTube videos or podcasts. Great stuff. That's why the gameplay part doesn't really matter. I just throw up something from my stream, because I record all of my streams, so I always have tons of just hours longs of footage. Alright, next one. Hiru, if you could add one thing to WoW, what would it be? Crap, I probably should have thought of something to this. Pet battle dungeons. I wonder how they're going to do that. That sounds fun. Like, they announced pet battle dungeons at BlizzCon, but I can't really think about how they would do it, other than another Celestial tournament, which is basically a pet battle dungeon. But when they announced that, I think, like, you know, you group up with, like, 2 other people, and you go in with a group into a dungeon, and you battle the people there with pets. Like, group fights. That's what I think when they say pet battle dungeon. And if that's not what it is, then I'll be disappointed. Disk space remaining for recording, 7 hours and 21 minutes. What? How do I only have 7 hours worth of disk space? Oh, I got distracted. I usually have so much disk space that kind of surprised me, because audio does not take up a lot. I'll have to look into that. What was I talking about? Oh, what would like to be added to WoW? Yeah, like multiplayer pet battle dungeons. That would be pretty cool. That's what I kind of hope the pet battle dungeon is. Alright, next question. I like listening to these while I work. Also, nihilism is pronounced like annihilate / the Nile River. Nihilism? Probably. I'm really bad at pronouncing stuff. I actually should probably stop talking about nihilism so much. You see, nihilism, you have to remember, well, I have to remember, that it kind of bums people out when they think about it. Not everyone knows as much about nihilism as I do, or just doesn't have the positive attitude about life like I do. And nihilism is used a lot by depressed people to justify their negative thoughts. Which I don't think. Nihilism is a freeing philosophy. If nothing matters, that means you can do whatever you want. But other people think since nothing matters, life is meaningless, and why shouldn't I kill myself? And in fact, why shouldn't I kill myself is sometimes debated as the only important question to ask. The only important question in philosophy is, why shouldn't I kill myself? And there's a really nice Wisecrack video about it you can just look up. I think if you just type in, why shouldn't I kill myself, then Wisecrack, you'll find it, and they'll talk about it. The gist of it is, I forget what the gist of it is. They go into a bunch of different discussions about it. He's like, should I kill myself today or have a cup of tea? The fact that you say both of those things in the very same sentence, one being mundane and one being literally the most life-changing thing you can do, says something about the question. It doesn't really matter. But if it doesn't matter, why not just do it? Well, because there's some good things about life, and it's fun. But then again, if life is nothing but pain for you, why shouldn't you? And that's where it gets a little bit muddy. In which case, it's like, well, yeah, I can kind of understand where you're coming from, but you shouldn't use nihilism as a way to justify that either. I forget. It seems like there was, I think I described it to someone in the comments actually. I think someone asked me like that very same question. It's like, according to nihilism, oh yeah, I did write something down. There's a lot to live for being a nihilist. It's not always a bad thing. Just because nothing matters doesn't mean death is the only option. Because by the very definition of nihilism, death is also pointless. Why die when you can have fun living? Nothing matters, so do whatever you want. But then you have to think about the overindulgence as a problem, and that's when you come full circle and realize that nihilism is also pointless, because you're still bound by human laws and restrictions. The other reasons listed seem to be other problems unrelated to nihilism, like anxiety and fear of change. A lot of depressed people are drawn to nihilism as an excuse to justify their thoughts, or people going through existential crisis. In which case, they should probably get some kind of help, which is another problem in of itself that I've written papers about in college. Basically, what it boils down to is people don't treat mental illness like a real problem, and it still has a negative stigma in most modern cultures. The average person is woefully uneducated about mental problems and only knows about them if someone in their family had problems, or more likely based on what they know of based off of TV shows and movies. You wouldn't treat a heart attack by just waiting for it to go away on its own. You'd go to the hospital and get that shit checked out. And yet, many people will do just that with mental illness, depression and extreme anxiety being the most common. I could go into a lot more detail, seeing as I took many classes on both psychology and philosophy. Tip, do not take a class in logic philosophy. It's the worst. And wrote papers on both subjects. But I think I wrote up some nice cliff notes. And yes, I love Dr. Pepper and Steins Gate. Man, I am a very elegant writer. That should explain my thoughts on it. Also, about the whole logic class thing, if you're in school and you have an elective and you see logic philosophy, the philosophy of logic, avoid that like the plague. It is horrible. It's literally just math, but without numbers. Like, that sounds stupid, and it is. And that's what the whole class was, and it was retarded, and I hated it. It was so hard, and it was just an elective credit. Ooh, avoid that shit. I'm warning you because I had to go through that shit. I think it also gave me some other kind of credit, too, that I needed, not just an elective one, so I couldn't just drop it. But man, was that hard and stupid. Like, there is some hard science to philosophy. It's just not about thinking random thoughts. They got their shit together. Okay, no more nihilism. I'm not going to talk about nihilism anymore. What is your opinion on Tailson and Eviltel? Oh man, I butchered their names. Do games. If not, will you check out a video? I know who they are. I'm subscribed to them, and I watch a couple of their videos. I don't watch all their videos, because a lot of them are just clickbait that are really long. I don't mind clickbait videos if they're good. Their videos, I wouldn't say they're bad, it's just they're not my cup of tea. When they do clickbait that are like hour-long discussions. It's like, I don't really care about an hour-long discussion about a clickbait topic. So I just avoid a lot of them. But they do have some good videos, that's why I stay subscribed to them. And they seem to be doing a lot pretty well for themselves. They're growing really fast, too. I think when I subscribed to them, they only had like 15k subs, and now they have, I don't know, like over 50k or something like that. That's pretty good. Okay, whew. Next question. Do you still use SoundCloud? I heard that you post the audio versions of your Q&As on your SoundCloud. I did for a while, but SoundCloud has a cap to how much you can actually upload with a free account. And I don't want to pay to upload more. Because they have you like delete your old stuff in order to upload more. And I kind of don't want to do that either. So I just decided to stop uploading to SoundCloud rather than having to delete my old stuff just to upload new SoundCloud ones for the Q&A. Because it was a pain in the ass. But I don't know. If the Q&A videos are popular enough, I might as well do it. But they're not really. They get like less than 10,000 views, which isn't... I don't know. These videos are more like for the fans. It's a fan service video. And it's not really worth it to pay SoundCloud in order to upload them. Next question from Miracle. Hey, when's the next collab? MiriQL is a machinimator on YouTube who does really good fight scenes. I didn't know fights could look good in machinimas until I saw his videos. That's how great they are. Go check out his epic encounter videos. Anyways, he asked if he could make like one of my machinimas that I've been talking about for a while. I have this idea for a machinima series video. A machinima series of videos where excuse me, Inzoth took over the world. It's like an alternate dimension type thing. Inzoth took over and he's had control of Azeroth for like 500 years. And he's been ruling for so long he's bored. So he wants adventure in his life. So he decides to secretly plan his own rebellion. And he goes out and creates artificial drama. And that's basically what it is. It's like a hero's journey where a guy finds a super secret artifact weapon and he has to go and fight the 4 evil generals of Inzoth. That way he can kill Inzoth himself once he collects all of the legendary artifacts. It's super generic, but it's put like that specifically by Inzoth himself. He's the one who told his minions to go out and cause trouble, but not too much because he doesn't want to kill everyone. Because if everyone's dead, no one's going to try to rebel against him. He also creates the items and puts them out too. And the story will follow Inzoth setting it all up in the first episode. And the rest of the series will follow the main guy who finds it all. And the main guy is a huge asshole. He is not a redeemable character at all. And I think it's funny how much of an asshole he is. He doesn't care about killing Inzoth, but he goes out and does it anyway because Inzoth's manipulating everything. And I think it's a nice little twist. It's not really a twist. It's full comedy. It's basically, it's just a comedy thing. And I have like the script written for it. And Miri offered to make it. So I'll be paying him to make the 4 episodes. But I don't know when they're going to come out because he's kind of busy. But he's working on it right now, and I might have the intro for it. I'm not going to say soon. I have no idea when that's going to be done. I don't even have the voices done for him yet either. And you kind of need that in order to make the machinima. But considering how good he does his machinimas, I don't expect it's going to look a lot better than anything I can make. That's for sure. So yeah, that's the collab thing. I'm also working on like the Dave and Devbot series. Like I've been saying that for a while because I haven't made an episode since like earlier this year when I made the last episode of the first season. In fact, it's been so long since I made a machinima video that I'm pretty sure half the people who subscribe to me don't even know that I make machinimas because it's been so long since I've done one. But I've been working on the second season secretly because I want to release it all when it's done. And I have it like half done by now. So I might be releasing that in January if I'm able to complete it this month. Or maybe I might start releasing it this month, I don't know. But when I do release it, it'll be like once a week until they're all done. And then maybe Inzoth will come out after that. So there'll be a whole bunch of machinima all at once after not having any for like half a year. Okay, next question. At timestamp says has incredible memory. At different timestamp completely forgets what he's talking about. I do have a good memory, but I don't have a perfect memory. That would explain that. Next question. What ethnicity are you? I'm half white and half Mexican. And I guess the half white part would be... my mom says it's part German, but I don't know for sure. So half Caucasian, half Hispanic. I'm half and half. It's funny though, whenever I get asked like that on forums that have you fill out your ethnicity, they'll have like a whole bunch of ethnicities, and it'll be like, or Hispanic. And there's never an option for like half people. And I wonder how many other people who are half and half have those kinds of problems where they don't have an option for. They're like, well, I'm part of each, but I don't really identify as either. Because that's kind of weird. So I usually just check other on those kinds of things. Because they rarely, if ever, have, mixed race option. Next question. What kind of memory tricks are you using? I don't know. Off the top of my head. There's a whole bunch of them that I just use subconsciously. I guess there's one if you want to memorize like specific words and stuff. Is associated with something ridiculous. Like if you want to, memorize the word for shower in Japanese, I think. Like the verb for taking a shower is abiru. So if you think of like a bee coming out of a shower, because there's a bee in there, abiru. A bee coming out of a shower, and then you just associate it with something ridiculous. You'll memorize it like that much quicker. And next time it shows up on a quiz, you'll instantly know what to do because you associate it with something ridiculous. But that requires you to have a good imagination. If you don't have a good enough imagination to think of ridiculous things like that, then you can't really use that kind of trick. But there's a bunch of other ones you can do. But yeah, one of the most standard ones is just to associate what you're trying to memorize with something ridiculous. And you'll remember it a lot better that way. Next question. Hey, want to see some raid disc gameplay from you? Can you record some, please? I'll try to make the footage on this video disc gameplay, because I know I have a lot of it. When I used to record the raids when we first started up, I should really get back into doing that. I don't have any footage of Trial of Valor yet. That's what it's called, right? I don't remember. Next question, Hiru. How can someone go about winning your love? Also, would you consider yourself a misanthropist? Misanthropist? Did I say that right? It sounds like I did. I actually had to look this up when I wrote this down. A misanthropist is someone who generally dislikes humans. That's not me. I generally like people. I'm just an introvert. I can only handle people in so many dosages before I get tired. But I used to work in customer service for 5 years, so I have a really high tolerance for talking to people that a normal introvert would, just because I've built it up over the years to the point where I think I'm just kind of a normal person. But I still would rather be alone than in a group of people. But when I am with people, it all depends on the situation. If I'm with family, then I have no obligation to try to get them to talk or to know more about them, because I don't care. But if I'm in a group of people that are friends, then I would definitely start up a conversation. I know how to do that, and there's a whole bunch of conversational techniques you can learn, which I had to learn because I am not a natural when it comes to it. But I put a lot of practice into it, so I can do that pretty naturally now. So I have no problem talking to people. I can hold a fun conversation. And I genuinely like to talk to some people. But there is no but. I like people. I just like to be by myself. Also, I'm kind of a well-balanced person. But my job entails me sitting in my room all day by myself. So that's kind of cool too, but I do kind of miss my old job where I used to get to talk to all my coworkers all the time. That was the best part of my old job, and I do miss that as well. So it's complicated. How can someone go about winning your love, though? Good question. If I were a clone of myself, how would I get on my clone's good side, knowing everything I know about him? I don't know. I can't think of anything. Hiru, how can someone... Oh, I already read that one. Next question. Can you please make a top 10 orc lore characters, please? This was in relation to my top 10 undead character video I made. The top 10 undead lore characters. The 30-minute video that took me a month to make. Because of all the research involved in making it. I will be making another one, but probably not until like next year. So don't expect one in December. And I think the next one will be on Blood Elves. But I will probably do an orc one too. I want to do one on Blood Elves, Orcs, and then Trolls. Those will be like my next 3 ones, since the Undead video did so well. It only has like 150k views, but because the video is 30 minutes long, I made a whole bunch. I made more money from it than I did from other videos that might have like double the amount of views, but are only like 5 or 10 minutes long. Just because YouTube really loves long videos. Alright, that has got to be like the 3rd time I had to stop recording to quell a talking fit. A coughing fit. I guess I wasn't as well rested and ready to record again as much as I thought I was. I'm still a little sick. Okay, next question. There's only like 5 more questions. I'm going through these a lot faster than I thought I would. Hi, Papa Hiru. Are you a very nostalgic person? I really enjoy all your videos. Um, a really nostalgic person. No, not really. Not at all, actually. But I used to be. And that's why I know pandering to nostalgia is a really good idea for videos. Because I used to be like that. But then I had to get out of that habit. Nostalgia is looking back on the past and thinking fondly of it. Like when I think back to my days of JV football. That was fun, but I don't want to do that again. Or I think back to the time of the year after high school, where I didn't go to school. I took like a year off before I started going to college. And I just worked on my part-time job on the weekend, and I played WoW all day, every day. That was fun. I can look back on that with nostalgia as well. He's like, oh, I miss those days. I miss all of the friends I had who used to play in there. Oh, I miss everything about all the people I knew and everything. And it's not really something you want to live into too much. Because if you spend too much time thinking about the past, you'll miss the present. And nothing exemplifies that more as when I was in 6th grade, I used to move to new school every year because of life problems. And I really liked 5th grade. Like, I had moved to a new school in 5th grade, like I did every year, but I really liked it there. I had a lot of fun. I made a lot of good friends. And it was great. It was probably like one of my best school years. And then I moved to a new school, but my mom had told me that I might be able to go back to my school. So for like the first couple months of 6th grade, I didn't attempt to make any friends, and I just went to the swings during recess and just swung by myself the entire time, didn't talk to anyone. And all I could think about was all the fun we had and how I might be going back. And then eventually, I knew I wasn't going to go back. My mom had lied to me, and I kind of just had to accept it, but I didn't want to. I wanted to go back so bad, and I was just mad that I wasn't able to. So I was just living in the past, and because of that, I wasn't able to enjoy the present, and I basically wasted half of the year in 6th grade just living in the past because I couldn't get it back. And then eventually I got over myself and made friends, and it was okay. They weren't really good friends, though. I went from like a lower income area to a really high income area, and I didn't really understand their culture. It was a culture shock for me. I remember I had to actually go in remedial classes because the school I went to previously, they didn't actually teach us anything. That was part of why I had so much fun at that school. Because we didn't really do too much book learning, we just played around a lot. And the classes we did take were really easy. I remember one of our teachers told us he didn't believe in 50% being a failing grade because, yeah, you got 50% of them right. That's a good job. I was like, yeah, that's true. So we didn't have to try very hard, and we got like A's in his class. That was great. But I didn't learn anything, so I had to go in remedial classes with all the other dumb people. And we had to relearn stuff. But then after like 2 months in that class, I got out. Because, man, those remedial teachers were really good. Like, holy crap, whenever I think of a definition of what a good teacher is, I can just think back to my 6th grade classes in the remedial classes. Because it was like me and like, I don't know, 4 or 5 other people. There was a really small group of people. And it was just one teacher who really cared about what she was doing. And she put everything in really easy terms to understand for all the dumb people there. Plus me, who was just there because I didn't learn this stuff. And I had to be caught up quickly. And I got caught up real quickly because she did a really good job. I went back to normal classes. Because I was never dumb. I was always in advanced classes. I was always good at pretty much anything in school. Whew, I'm one of those people who was always good at everything. Humble brag, not really. Yeah, it's not really good to... You don't want to say that you were basically good at everything you've ever done. Because that sounds really self-centered and egocentric. And that does explain who I am, but I have to hide that fact because it's not appealing. It's not a character trait you want people to know about. But sometimes it's easier to just explain that. But anyways, enough about my ego trip. I forgot what I was talking about. Something about nostalgia. Oh yeah, how I missed, how I basically ruined half of my 6th grade because of nostalgia. And I learned a good lesson about that. Just let go of the past and live in the present. But now I have a new problem, where I have to stop worrying about the future and live in the present. I no longer have problems with nostalgia, but I do have problems with, things are going really good right now. I bet something really bad is about to happen, because every time things have been going well for me, something bad always happens immediately after. And that's not a good mindset to have either. You're not supposed to expect bad things to happen just because you're having a currently good time. So that's another thing I'm working on, to completely live in the present. Let go of the past and don't worry about the future. It's a lot harder than you'd think. It's all part of my goal of having a stress-free lifestyle, which I'm pretty almost there. It's pretty good. My life's pretty good right now. The fact that I was sick for 4 days and I was able to take the days off, no problem, because my job is making YouTube videos, which is pretty good. Next question. Why did you get fired from your job after 5 years? This is another one I've answered quite a few times. But this one's not really that long of a story. I don't mind really talking about this one, because like I said earlier when I answered another question that gets asked a lot, I don't expect everyone who's watching these to have watched all of them. So, my last job was at a place called Golfland Sunsplash, where people go like mini golfing, laser tag, go karts, and stuff like that. And as part of the job, we'd work at a whole bunch of different stations. Anyways, one day, I was on call on like a Tuesday or something. I'm not usually ever on call, but they had decided, like during spring break, to open up the couple of slides behind the castle where we worked in, and without actually hiring people to work during that time, because whenever the slides are open, the main castle with all the mini golf and go-karts and stuff gets busy, because that's how they got them. They'd have like the water park to bring people in because it's really hot all the time where I live. And then they're like, oh, while we're here, we might as well do all these other fun things. So instead, what they would do is they would just put everyone who could work during those times, like people who were in college, like me, they would just put them on call during the times that they needed them to work during the week, because they knew the slides were going to be open for spring break and some other times. So they put me on call, but I usually only worked Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And I didn't know I was supposed to be working on Tuesdays, so they call me up out of nowhere, and they're like, hey, how come you're not here? I was like, I wasn't supposed to work today. So I was, yeah, it says you're on call. It's like, oh, so you guys calling me in? Like, yeah, of course. Everybody who's on call has to work this week. I was like, okay, I'm literally just learning about this right now. I guess I'll head over there. So I went to work in a pretty bad mood because I didn't want to work 4 days that week. That's ridiculous. Who works 4 days a week? Oh, sorry, I need to get a little drink of water. So I go there, and they make me work laser tag, which is fine. Laser tag is like the easiest thing you can do. You just basically sit upstairs, and people will come in to play laser tag. You take them into the little room, you put all their vests on, make sure they're working, and then you explain the rules to them and tell them to go off, and you just sit down in a dark room for 10 minutes and wait for them to be over while you listen to techno music, which is pretty relaxing. I also brought in my PSP so I could play some Vector Tower Defense while they were doing that. So I just got to play video games while they did all that stuff. So anyways, I was supposed to raid that day at 6 o'clock, and my schedule said I was done at 4 o'clock. And it's like a 45-minute drive to get home. Oh man, I just had another coughing fit. Anyways, since it wasn't really a long drive to get home, I was looking forward to 4 o'clock. And then once 4 o'clock rolls around, I go downstairs, because like, hey, where's my replacement? They're like, oh, your replacement won't get here until 5 o'clock. I was like, oh, but I'm only scheduled to 4. They're like, yeah, but you're going to have to stay until 5. I was like, if I stay until 5, they usually don't actually get my replacement to me till like around 5:30. In which case, I'd have to race home, but that's during rush hour. But if I leave now, I can avoid most of rush hour. So I was like, okay. So I finished up whatever game was going on, and then I just left. I went home and raided, and then they called. No, they didn't even call me. I had a friend of mine who told me, he's like, hey, did you know you were fired? I was like, no. He's like, oh, well, yeah, you are. You don't have to come in on Friday. I was like, I'm going to come in on Friday because they haven't told me shit. So I go in and I talk to my manager, and he's like, oh, yeah, one of the higher-ups came in and saw that you left, so they fired you. I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. I was like, wow, this is I thought I'd get like a warning or something or some kind of reprimand. I didn't think they'd fire me right away for that. He's like, yeah, well, maybe you can. He's like, oh, between you and me, maybe you can use this opportunity to just get a better job or something. And I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be working here. I'm 21, and I've been working here since I was 16. And it's minimum wage, and I still make minimum wage. I was like, yeah, I'm not really that mad. Okay, nice working with you, Mike. So I left my shirt and my name tag there, and I left. And that's how I got fired. I left work early for an hour without telling anyone. And they just fired me. And I was, I had mixed feelings about it. In one way, I was like, I probably would have never left unless they fired me. And I probably should have left for a better job a while ago, because I was still getting minimum wage. But then on the other hand, it's like I kind of liked working there too because the coworkers were fun to talk to. Oh, but man, the customers sucked. Customers were the worst. I could probably make like one of those, there's those YouTubers who talk about their lives and they draw little comics to them. I could make a whole bunch of videos like that just talking about terrible customers over the years. I probably will over on my joke channel now that I think about it. That's a good idea. I'll have to think of some of those videos. Anyways, that's how I got fired. I left work early one day because I didn't want to miss rating. Okay, next question. Also, if I had never gotten fired, then I probably would have never started YouTube. So it was a good thing. I do YouTube now because I got fired. Because it was the reason I started YouTube was basically because I had a whole bunch of free time now that I didn't have a job anymore. And because something else was happening. I was like, if all these bad things keep happening one after another, I might become depressed. So I'm going to make a complete life change and do something I've always wanted to do. And one of the things I always wanted to do was make YouTube videos, and that's what I did. And that's how I got started. Was because of a major life change like that. I wanted to make another major life change, a positive one, in order to counteract it. And it worked. But now it's my job. You'll find that a lot of other YouTubers kind of started the same way. They just started making videos one day. Out of like boredom or to fight off depression. I've heard that from a lot of other YouTubers. Okay, next question. hirumaredx, question for the next Q&A. Do you focus on being healthy a lot or just go for a run every morning? Kind of a little of both. Like I wouldn't go running if I didn't need to. But if I don't go running, I start gaining weight, and I don't like to be fat. But also, you also have to eat healthy as well, otherwise you'll start gaining weight. But if I don't go running, it allows me to eat a little bit more, but at the same time, it doesn't really help that much, and I should probably stop eating out as much as I do. And I should really eat a little bit healthier, especially since I had that one whole problem with my colon in like May of this year. I do need to be more healthy, and I have been making steps towards that. But it was never really a concern of mine. I just went running because I wanted to lose a little bit of weight. And I got used to it. So yeah, it's... do you focus on being healthy, or you just go for a run every morning? Yeah, I guess it is because I focus on being healthy. It's mainly because I want to lose weight. But I guess that is part of being healthy, but that was not my main goal. Next question, Hiru. How did you get footage of you going from the Blood Elf starting zone to Outlands? That was in my video. I don't remember the name of it. But basically in the video I talk about how the Blood Elf starting zone is on the same map as Outlands. And you can actually just fly straight from Outlands to the Blood Elf starting zone. Even though, on the map, it shows Outlands being in Outlands and the Blood Elf starting zone being in the Eastern Kingdoms. How could they possibly be connected? Well, because they were just put on the same map in BC. They just have an invisible wall blocking them off and they're really far away. And the way I was able to get the footage of that was I went onto a Warlords of Draenor private server and I installed a program called Free Farsight because they don't have it working on live servers yet. Or they might not. They haven't really put any updates to it. And Free Farsight basically allows you to use like the Shaman ability Farsight, but on any character and without any limitations. So you can just basically fly around and look at everything. And I use that in order to fly over there. You can also use it to go through walls and stuff. It's a nice program for getting machinima footage or footage for videos. Alright, next question. Do you read comics? If so, what's your favorite comic line? Do you watch Netflix Marvel shows or the Arrowverse? Rank your favorite seasons from best to worst. Okay, so do I read comics? Not really. I read a whole bunch of like encyclopedias on comic characters, so I know a lot about them from that. Because I used to go to the library and I'd rent like the giant encyclopedia of superhero books. I'd read all of them. I even have like one that shows like the power scalings of some of the more famous superheroes. So I know a lot about the superheroes from comics, but I don't really read comics. That being said, recently I have read a comic called like The Visions, or The Vision. It's basically a comic series of Vision from the Avengers trying to live a normal life. So he like creates a wife and 2 kids, and they just live in a town in Washington. And it's about him trying to pretend to be a normal person and his kids going to school. And it is really good. I was like, I don't know, I haven't finished it yet. I think the last episode or the last chapter of it came out like a month ago or something. I haven't read it yet because it releases monthly. I'm not used to keeping up with comics that release monthly besides mangas. But from what I read so far, it's really good. I really like that story. And the guy who wrote that comic got hired by DC to start writing Batman. So I'm pretty sure that'll be pretty good too when it comes out. And then do I watch Netflix Marvel shows? I've watched Daredevil. That was really good. I haven't watched season 2 yet though. Or Jessica Jones or the other one. I forgot its name. I have them all on my playlist to watch. And I've heard good things about them. I haven't watched them yet though because I know that they're good. I'll probably start binge watching them. And I don't really like doing that. Because if I binge watch a show, I lose a whole bunch of time and I can't really do anything else. And it seems like a whole bunch of time that could be spent making a video. Because I'm kind of a workaholic. So I avoid good shows. Same reason I stopped watching House of Cards because it was so good. I had to stop watching it. Because I was watching it during like finals. I was like, well, if I continue to watch this as background footage, there's no way I can do that because it's getting really good. And I can't concentrate on my work anymore, so I have to stop watching it. And the reason I finished Daredevil was because I watched it while I was creating the Lich King trailer drawn in Flash video. So it was a bunch of mindless drawing that I was able to watch it. And I knew I was going to be doing that for like an entire day. So I was like, hey, maybe I can finish the first season of Daredevil because I have all this time that's going to be very monotonous. Most of the time I avoid good shows like that just because I know I'll start binge watching it. Or I won't be able to concentrate on what I'm doing. But I've heard good things about it and I do plan on watching them. I just don't know when I will. Alright, so last 4 questions. Next question. Don't know if this was asked already. But are you going to remake your WoW history video since Legion came out? I will remake all my old ones that use my old mic because the sound quality is not very good. And that's about it. I don't think there's really a need to remake the other ones because most of those were made like in Myths and Legion. And there's not too many things to add to that. The real fun parts about watching those videos are finding out how the abilities worked, like in Vanilla and the Burning Crusade and Wrath, the old expansions. But I don't know, maybe in an expansion or two I'll start redoing those ones too that were done in Mist and Warlord. But for now, just the ones with the shitty mic quality. And for those ones, I'm gonna go back and redo the script because I do those videos a little bit differently now than I used to. I'm gonna go back and double check all my facts because I found a more efficient way to actually research those videos. So yeah, I'll redo a lot of those, but I still need to recheck the script, and that's going to take a while too. Oh man, this video has been killer on my throat. Alright, next one. How many daily views do you need to go full-time on YouTube? Daily views? I have no idea. I go by monthly views, because you get paid every month on YouTube by pretty much all of the partners and stuff. And for monthly views, how many do you need to go full-time? It all depends on what your living expenses are. My living expenses at the time were really cheap. They still are pretty cheap right now, to be honest. That's why I have a lot saved up. Well, most of it's saved up for taxes, though. I still haven't paid taxes yet because I didn't really make enough to pay taxes, but I have made enough to pay taxes, but my sister's an accountant, and she told me just save it up and she'll deal with it. Which is nice. It's nice to have an accountant living with you. But yeah, it all depends on your living expenses. My living expenses are really cheap, so I was able to go full-time at, 500k views a month, like 500,000, and that was with really cheap living expenses. And now I get 2 million views a month. So I'm able to make a lot more than my living expenses, but still not as much as, I don't know, I make a lot more than I did my old channel as well. My old job, working minimum wage. I guess the good question to ask is how much views do you need to make in order to make minimum wage? I'd say about 1 million views a month. That's a good threshold to look for. If you can make about 1 million views a month, that's about minimum wage. Give or take, just because of how much it fluctuates. But it all depends on your branding deals too, and if you're trying to sell something. I know there's some people who do full-time on YouTube and make a lot more than I do, actually. And they only get 250,000 views a month. 20 times less than what I do, but they make more than I do because of branding and their videos sell products. You can make a lot more if you do that. I don't do any of that. I'm basically pure ad revenue, which is the least efficient way to do YouTube. But I don't like doing brand deals. I pretty much just ignore all brand deals that people send me. Because I did a couple, and I didn't really like doing them. I felt like it added unnecessary time to my videos. I don't really like... I like to binge watch videos, and the best people to binge watch are the ones who don't have ads in their videos. So I don't really like to put ads in my videos, brand deals, because I create all my videos with the explicit, that's not how you say that word, with the notion that people will binge watch them. I create all my videos with in mind that people will binge watch them. So I make the intro short, and I make the outro short. They're less than 15 seconds. That way they can be easily binge watched. You put them in a playlist, you don't have to worry about skipping anything. And if I did brand deals, I wouldn't be able to do that many. But I would make a lot more money if I just accepted one of them. I think I got one the other day that was hey, how would you like to mention our product? We'll give you $2,500 up front, plus commission. I was like, damn, that's a lot of money. But I'm going to ignore that. So yeah, that's why you see other YouTubers do lots of brand deals, because they make a lot more money that way. Next question. You the best. I think I have rewatched all of your videos, excluding most Q&As, at least 5 times each video in the last 3 days. Yeah, I create my videos to be binge watched. That's why I have a bunch of different specific playlists for stuff. That way you can just go in and just pop on the playlist and go through all the videos, depending on which ones you like. I really wish other channels had in-depth playlists like I have. That way I can go through and binge watch their videos. Like, I make sure to remove my older videos from there. That way they can watch them all without having to hear of the shitty sound quality from my old mic. And I wish other channels would do that too, but most of them don't really bother with playlists, and it makes me mad. But there are some channels that do that, and that's where I got my idea from in the first place, to make very specific playlists for everything. Which is great. Internet comment etiquette with Eric. He's a good example of someone who has binge watchable videos. His videos are all like hilarious. They're so great, and they're binge watchable too, because there's like no promotional stuff in them, and he has very detailed playlists. Man, I love Internet comment with etiquette. I've rewatched all of his videos like 3 times. You know, just like you have, just because his playlists are so good. John Tron, he doesn't really have good playlists, but his videos are pretty binge watchable too. Just because they're so long, his in-video ads aren't really a problem. But yeah, I try to make my videos with the notion of them being binge-watched. That's why I turn down money for you guys. That way you can binge-watch my videos. Next question, Hiru. Who do you main in Super Smash Bros. Melee? I'm sorry, who do you main in Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube? I gotta remember to say Melee and not Melee, because people will bitch at me if I say it the other way. In Super Smash Bros. Melee, I used to play Kirby a lot. I know, I'm a pleb. That's because I didn't really know you could do Super Smash Bros. So competitively until I watched like a documentary on it. It's like, damn, I did not know this game was that complicated. Watching professional Super Smash Bros. Melee players fight each other is like watching like a Dragon Ball Z fight, because there's so many things happening at once. It's ridiculous, and it's pretty entertaining. Haven't really found any other fighting games entertaining, but watching that documentary on Melee fights was great. I still don't really watch them though. I don't really watch any kind of esports, to be honest. Alright, and that's it for the video. My throat is completely shot. I was not prepared to do this. I had to stop like 5 times and just cough. Oh shit, I almost forgot to mention. At the end of this video, if you have any questions for my next one, just leave them below and I might answer them. I got a lot more questions this time around than I usually do. I guess it's because my channel's growing a lot bigger. So I might have to start just leaving out questions. Because I usually just leave out repeats and stuff, but this was probably the most amount of questions I've answered in a single Q&A video. And it's not my longest either. That's just how much I usually ramble on my older ones. I still ramble on a lot, to be honest.